Hey y'all, I'm back. It's Marissa. Thanks for everybody who showed me support on my first few videos. Please subscribe and watch them if you haven't already. Yeah, so today I'm going to show you how I blend my eyeshadow out. So it's going to be basically like eyeshadow for beginners. So I basically learned how to blend my eyeshadow through watching YouTube videos, but it's hard to find like beauty gurus who will just do like, you know, the basics anymore, because everybody feels like everybody already knows how to do makeup, and I know that's probably not true. So I'll just show y'all how to blend your eyeshadow. So you can start using concealer on your eyelids, and this will help make your eyeshadow last longer. You can use an eyeshadow primer, but I feel like concealer works just as well. So you might as well just use what you already have instead of going out and buying something else, because makeup is expensive. And then I'm just blending it out with the beauty blender. Alright, and then next I like to set down that concealer. Some people don't like to set down the concealer because when you don't, it can lead to a more pigmented look for your eyeshadow. But if you're just a beginner, I would recommend to set down your eyeshadow. I'll insert a picture of one makeup artist. His name is like Mitchell, or MMM Mitchell, and he does really really like bright eyeshadow looks, and he doesn't ever set down the concealer on his eyeshadow, so you can see like the type of look I'm talking about when I'm saying like if you don't set it down then it's gonna be more pigmented. But it's really only for like super intricate, like detailed, colorful looks that like makeup artists will do that. Okay, so for this eyeshadow look, I'm going to use my Tartelette in Bloom palette. You can see it's well loved on. This is my second of 3 palettes that I have of this, so it's definitely one of my favorites. So I'm going to start by taking the shade Sweetheart right here, and I'm going to use it as a transition shade. So your transition shade is what you use on your eyeshadow to make everything look more blended and more put together. It's not going to show up that dark, so you might not think it makes a difference. But when you use it, it really like makes it have a like a flawless gradient in your eye. And I'm just using a fluffy blending brush to do that. Usually like the bigger the brush, the better for the transition shade, because it's supposed to be like super diffused on your eyelid, and just put it like above your crease and on the lid. Alright, and I'm going to mention really quickly, these are the colors that I'm using, but you can basically translate it into any color you want to use. So like if you just want to use browns, or if you want to move on to like more colorful colors, I just like this eyeshadow palette because of the colors, and I like the way it looks, and that you can create so many different looks with it, but it still looks like, not natural, but it looks very glam, I guess. Okay, and then next, using the same brush, I'm going to take the next shade over. It's called Rebel. I'm just going to put it in the same area but a little bit lower so it doesn't go all the way up. And make sure that it's like in the crease too, so the crease of your eye is like right where it creases. I don't know how to better explain that. But when you put eyeshadow in the crease of your eye like that, it makes your eyes look bigger because it will like make the crease look deeper. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. So I'm just putting a little bit more in there right now, and you can blend it up a little bit. I have noticed that I like it when it goes not just in the crease, but a little bit above the crease as well, because that will make it look like your crease is higher and your eyes are even more bigger. More bigger? I don't know if that made sense. And you can keep going in with the shade if you want it to look darker. A lot of people will do this. It just depends on the quality of your eyeshadows, how it'll look. Some eyeshadows are super pigmented, so you wouldn't need to go in more and more. Some are a little bit more sheer, or yeah, just sheer, I guess. So you wouldn't. So you would want to be able to use that to be able to build it up. And so you could do more natural or more glam and intense if you like So that's basically it. You can see how the transition shade is kind of up there. It might be hard to see at this point, but it really does help. And how the shade Rebel is on the crease of my, or above, in the crease of my eye and above it. And then next, I'm going to really deepen up the crease a little bit. So I'm going to take a blending brush, and this one's a little bit more flat as opposed to like this brush, which is more round. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but one's more flat and a little bit smaller, and this one's more fluffy and round. And this is just an e.l.f. blending brush, and it was probably like at the most $3. But I'm going to go ahead and take the last shade in this row called Leader. And I'm going to take it, tap off the excess. I'm going to tap off the excess because it's a little bit darker, so you don't want it to be too intense when you first go in with it. And just put it on the crease and below it, or just directly into the crease. I don't know if you can see a difference in this eye versus this eye, but the crease is definitely more defined in this eye, right here. I'm just taking a little bit more and building it up. And I would definitely recommend that you start slow and then build up more as you move on. Okay, sorry, I'm just going to take the big fluffy blending brush that I used first in the beginning, and I'm just going to blend it out, make sure everything's blended so there's no harsh lines. So you can see how there's like the darker in the crease, it gets a little bit lighter when you go out, and that will just make your eyes look bigger. Right, so the next thing you might hear me talk about in my videos is the outer V of your eye. And basically it's the outer third of your eyelid below the crease. And if you put eyeshadow right here, it helps to open up the eyes a little bit more. So I think I might take a darker shade, but don't feel like you have to. You could even just go in with the shade Leader again if you're using this eyeshadow palette. But I'm feeling a little daring, so I'm going to take the shade Smoke Show on my Morphe M441 brush. And I'm going to tap off the I'm going to tap off the excess because it's a little bit darker and I don't want to go in too heavy-handed. So I'm just going to place it in the outer V of my eye very lightly. I'm using a very light, like barely any pressure on my eye. And I'm placing it there and I'm just tapping it basically to get it on there. Let me go on the other side. I'm going to go in with the shade Leader again and just to blend it out. And I'm going in with lightly using circular motions to blend. So next I'm going to go in with a shimmer shade on my eyelids. You can either use a shimmer shade or a matte shade, but I just like using shimmer. So I'm taking the shade Firecracker. It's just bronzy shade right here. I'm just taking it on a Wet n Wild eyeshadow brush and I'm packing it on the lid with the brush. And if it doesn't come off as pigmented as you would like, you can always spray your brush or you could use your finger. It just depends on the type of look you're doing and how precise you want to be. So you can see that shade barely like showed up on my eyes. So you could also go in with an even like denser brush because the more dense the brush is, the more like it'll pack onto the lid. The way I said on was weird. It was like on. Okay, so I'm just going to take this Ulta Beauty Small Shadow Brush. And I'm taking the shade Firecracker again just because I felt like it wasn't, you can barely notice it wasn't dark enough. And you can see already this is making a difference when I put it on the lid. I will say with eyeshadow, you should be careful to keep your shimmers on the lids and the matte colors that you use on the outside of the lid. Because if you do that, if you put shimmer in your lid, it won't give the same opening effect to your eye. You can if you want to, but just play around with it and see what you like. Okay, so there's the shimmer on the lid, and normally when I do my eyeshadow with this look, I'll use a ColourPop shadow because I feel like they're really shiny and shimmery, but since this is just a beginner's how to do your eyeshadow video, I'm not going to do that. So yeah. Okay, the next you might notice is that my under eyes have gotten really dark, and that happens because we get fallout when you do your eyeshadow, so I'm just going to have some cotton rounds here. I'll either use a makeup wipe or I'll take a cotton round with some micellar water, and micellar water is just basically makeup remover. So I'm going to take some micellar water on the cotton round and I'm just going to wipe away the fallout. you can see when you wipe it off, it creates this line right here, because if it goes down too much, it might make your eyes look like they're turning down more, and it won't look as like opening for your eyes. So right now this is my eyeshadow. I think it looks pretty good, especially if you're a beginner. Like, if this is how it looks, then it's great. And you can see for this eyeshadow look, I really only used 4 brushes, which might seem like a lot to some people, but sometimes when I do my eyeshadow, I end up using like 10 eyeshadow brushes, which is really a lot. I use this really big, fluffy blending brush for the transition shade and for the crease shade, which in this palette was Sweetheart and Rebel. And then I also used it whenever I used the darker shades, just to make sure they were all blended out. Alright, and then you can see I used this flatter brush to really, for the crease, so I could make sure that it was darker and deeper, and it made my eyes look bigger. And then I used this brush, which is the Morphe M441 brush for the darker outer V of the eye. And I used this Ulta Beauty shadow brush for the lid. I did use this brush, but I would honestly, if I was doing this look again, just go in with this one brush and use it, because it helped more than this one. So you don't need this one. I like to take one of these lighter shades, like the white or the like really bone colored shade, and you can put it on your inner corners of your eye and on the brow bone, and this just opens up the eyes more and makes them look brighter. Yeah. So you put it right here on the inner corner of your eye and up here on the brow bone. So you can see a little bit of a comparison of these two eyes. It might look better once I put the rest of my face makeup on, but this eye just looks a little bit more like highlighted right here and right here, so it just opens up the eye more. So next I'm just gonna go in with foundation really quickly, and it's literally like 10 o'clock at night, so I'm not gonna use a primer, but I'm gonna use my Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation really quickly on camera, and it's the stick version. I didn't think I was gonna be able to get this, but I got it on Target's website because I have a Target Red card, so I got free shipping and foundation. Yeah, I love Target. Alright, and I have the shade Buff Beige. I'm proud of myself. I guessed the right shade online, and I was not sure at all if it was going to be the right shade, but it is. And then I'm just going to take a foundation brush, and I feel like foundation brushes are the brushes I have the most of, because I don't want to wash them as often because they get really full of foundation and dirty, but I'm just going to blend it out. I'm just going to do like a light face look for this because it's just for beginners. But if you want me to go more in depth on how I do my face for beginners, then I for sure will. I probably will do it even if you don't want it. So okay, and then I'm just gonna use the same concealer that I've used in all of my videos. I'm just kidding. Ignore my laugh. I hate it. Okay, and I'm blending. Okay, and then I'm setting my under eyes. I will say, one thing I do like about doing my eyeshadow before I do my face makeup and my foundation is if there's fallout, you can wipe it away before you do the rest of your face. But if you do your face first, it's hard to wipe away the fallout, so you have to be very careful with your eyeshadow. Okay. Okay. Alright, so next I'm going to do the eyeshadow underneath my eyes, and that looked like it was too low. Underneath my eyes. Oh god. Okay. And literally every single time I do my eyeshadow makeup, I use the same brush underneath my eyes. I'm surprised it hasn't fallen apart yet, but it's just a BH Cosmetics No. 7 brush, and you can see it's kind of got, let me try and hold it up close. It's got like a dome shape to it, and it's really like thick. No. It's got like this dome shape to it, and it really helps with like underneath the eyes because I feel like it puts enough color in the center, but it also smokes it out a little bit. So for underneath my eyes, I'm just going to take the shade Rebel right here, and I'm going to take a little bit, tap off the excess, and put it under my eyes. And when you put this eyeshadow underneath your eyes, you can see it kind of like transforms the look. Whenever I first started out, I remember I was using this little e.l.f. eyeshadow palette book, and it was stolen from my older sister probably, No, definitely stolen from my older sister. Sorry if you're watching this. I don't know which one I stole it from. But I definitely took it from my older sister and kept it in my room and played with it and tried to wear it to school every day. But I didn't know that you're supposed to use concealer first on your eyeshadow, and I got so frustrated every time I would be like go into the classes later in the day and there wouldn't be eyeshadow on my eyelids, and I would be upset and I wouldn't know why. And then I started watching more YouTube and I realized that it was just me, not the eyeshadows. And next I'm going to go in with a little bit of eyeliner. I don't know how to do winged eyeliner that well. I just know how to put a little bit of eyeliner on. So I just take it and like place it on the lid and drag it a little bit. And sometimes I mess up, but you know, everybody makes mistakes. And just lining your eyes will help make your lashes look a little bit thicker. So that way when you have thick and long lashes, it makes your eyeshadow just like, or not your eyeshadow, it makes your eyes look bigger. So yeah, that's it. This whole thing is just how to make your eyes look bigger. I'm gonna set my face really quickly because if I don't, your face will cake here. I've also noticed when I set my face, it makes my eyeshadow look better, and I don't know why or how, but it just does. Next, I'm just going to go in with mascara, and I'm just using the Maybelline Great Lash Mascara. And I'm trying to be really careful not to get mascara on my eyeshadow, which I tend to do like every time I do my makeup. It's just inevitable at this point. Alright, and that was how to do your eyeshadow for beginners. I'm still talking too much with my hands, but it's okay. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe for more. It would mean a lot to me. And like it if you like this video. Follow me on Instagram at Marisa__and1. Or I have a makeup account, which is where I'll post all my thumbnails for the video, letting you know when I post, which is at Marisa_and_makeup. Okay, bye.